8744. Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Okay, let us start. So we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 8, Chapter 7. That Shiva saves the universe by drinking poison. Tapyante lokatapena sadhava prayashochana paramaradh anam tadadhi purushasya akilatmanaha tapyante lokatapena sadhava prayashochana paramaradhanam tadadhi purushasya akhilatmanaha tapyante lokatapena sadhava prayashochana paramaradhanam tadadhi purushasya akhilatmanaha. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of the people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. Purport? Here is an explanation of how those engaged in activities for the welfare of others are very quickly recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18.68 and 69, Yaidam paramam guhyam madbhakteshu abhidhashyati nachatasman manusyeshu kaschin me priyakritamam. One who preaches the message of Bhagavad Gita to my devotees is most dear to me. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Hare Krishna Prabhu, Bolo Krishna Prabhu. No one can excel him in satisfying me by worship. There are different kinds of welfare activities in this material world. But the supreme welfare activity is the spreading of Krishna consciousness. Other welfare activities cannot be effective, for the laws of nature and the results of karma cannot be checked. It is by destiny of the law of karma that one must suffer or enjoy. For instance, if one is given a court order, he must accept it, whether it brings suffering or profit. Similarly, everyone is under obligations to karma and its reactions. No one can change this. Therefore, the Shastra says, Tasyaiva heto prayate takovito nalabhyate yadbramatam upariyadaha. One should endeavor for that which is never obtained by wandering up and down the universe as a result of the reactions of karma. What is that? One should endeavor to become Krishna conscious. If one tries to spread Krishna consciousness all around the world, he should be understood to be performing the best welfare activity. The Lord is automatically pleased with him. If the Lord is pleased with him, what is left for him to achieve? If one has been recognized by the Lord, even if he does not ask the Lord for anything, the Lord who is within everyone supplies him whatever he wants. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Tesham nityadi yuktanam yoga shemam mahamyaham. Again as stated here, tapyanti lokatapena sadhava prayasho janaha. The best welfare activity in raising people to the platform of Krishna is raising people to the platform of Krishna consciousness. Since the conditioned soul are suffering only for want of Krishna consciousness, the Lord Himself comes to mitigate the suffering of humanity. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanirбhavati bharata abhyutthanam adharmasya tadatmanam srijamyam paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkrita dharma sansthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice or descendant of Bharata and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself to deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion. I myself appear millennium after millennium. All the Shastras conclude, therefore, that spreading the Krishna consciousness movement is the best welfare activity in the world. Because of the ultimate benefit this bestows upon people in general, the Lord very quickly recognizes such service performed by a devotee. It is said that great personalities almost always accept voluntary suffering because of the suffering of the people in general. This is considered the highest method of worshipping the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is present in everyone's heart. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Acharya Prabhu, you would like to comment on this verse, Prabhu?
Actually, this Sanjay Prabhu, which has joined.
Hanji Prabhu?
Sanjay Prabhu has joined his Sanjay Prabhu's side.
Okay, okay, okay. The whole material world is running after chasing for sense gratification and comforts and luxuries and happiness. Wherein people feel that this chase for happiness, the goal of life, here Srimad Bhagavatam is explaining that what one should aspire for is to accept more and more voluntary suffering. Or to say of chasing after happiness, but rather to accept more and more voluntary suffering. for the pleasure of the Lord. So, in fact, we can see that the initial kick in the coming of our Krishna consciousness also comes from the idea of the fact that this is the process which can give me liberation. So, it is very interesting to see that the process which ushers or showers us unlimited happiness, that process progresses by acceptance of voluntary suffering. That seems to be quite interesting. So, when we accept suffering voluntarily on behalf of the Supreme Lord, for the mission of the Supreme Lord, then that results in oceanic happiness for everyone. So, therefore, Jai Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maharani Sudarshan Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, this material world is a very strange place, wonderful place. The Bhadrasva Varsha, we were hearing the prayers of the residents of the Bhadrasva Varsha. This is how this material world is such a wonderful place. Everything is a wonder in this world. Why? Because the point is, if one chases after happiness, one gets misery. And if one voluntarily accepts suffering, one gets happiness. That is the law of this world. That is the law of this world. So therefore, the chase after happiness not only leads to misery for oneself, but misery for all others whom one touches upon, because of the chase after happiness. Well, if one accepts the sufferings of others, then it leads to happiness for all. So that's why you see in the Shastras we will hear the Lord and the Acharyas very vehemently, strongly and desperately appealing us to surrender to Krishna, to become dedicated towards the mission of the Lord. Many times the question comes that many times when the talk of dedication comes, sometimes even devotees become fearful. Why am I being asked to fully dedicate for the mission of the Lord? So even a devotee may become a bit fearful. Even a devotee may become a bit fearful. The reason is that in what one is interfacing in this world, there is this film of the very small film of mental happiness is there in the facilities and in the box and in the shell which we have created around ourselves. And therefore, the living entity thinks that why this film, so let this film be there. But the point we are understanding is the mercy and love of the Supreme Lord will not reach one's heart, and unless and until one's heart is throbbing for the Lord's mission, unless and until the devotee is taking extra pains to stretch oneself for the pleasure of the Lord, the mission of the Lord. Srila Prabhupada explains at many places that this preaching mission is filled with a lot of difficulties. So when we stand to be an instrument in the hands of the Lord, a lot of difficulties and oppositions may come. And therefore Prabhupada explains at other places in his purport that one should be extremely humble and tolerant. That no matter whatever comes, criticisms may come, striking back may come, people may strike back, create opposition, fire back. Opposition may come. So Srila Prabhupada becomes the devotees to remain steadfast and focused and fixed on the mission. So we can see that everywhere preaching is accompanied with challenges. And that's why Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Sri Thakur Maharaj says that it takes gallons of bloods to make one person into a devotee. So one will not be able to do this unless one comes out of one's shell of that film of illusory happiness and comforts. Unless one comes out of one's box of that film of happiness and comfort. So therefore we can understand that the mercy of the Lord follows, or the mercy of the Lord is attracted by the struggle which a devotee undertakes to be an instrument in the mission of the Lord. Krishna is noting down one sacrifice we are making for his mission. Therefore, this sacrifice never goes in vain. And that is why Prabhupada is quoting Tasyeva heto prayate kovida. What is the point in simply patching up people's problems? Material solutions are all painkiller solutions. They are not going to work. All work is connection to Krishna. And that is why it is said here that one should aim for that spiritual emancipation. For others and oneself. So when one offers the sacrifice to be an instrument in the Lord's mission, then that sacrifice will yield happiness for everyone. And therefore it is a supreme auspicious activity. One of the qualities of a devotee is avyartha kalatvam. He is always engaged. He doesn't even spare a moment uh, blank. Why? Because Vaishnava feels the suffering of the conditioned souls in this material world. And because he or she feels the suffering of the conditioned souls in this material world, such a devotee cannot sit quiet. That is a hallmark. So there is no question of saturation for a devotee. There is no question of satiation for a devotee. A devotee goes on increasing his or her endeavor more and more for the mission of the Lord, for the pleasure of the Lord. Feeling the suffering of the fallen conditioned souls. Srila Prabhupada explains in the purport that why material problems or sufferings need a spiritual supply. The supply of the connection to Krishna, the supply of the grace of Krishna. Srila Prabhupada explains that because the material suffering and misery is a result of one's karma, and this karma cannot be undone by any other material algorithm. It can only be undone by uh, the spiritual supply, the supply of the connection to Krishna. And therefore, unless people connect to Krishna, then their karma logs will never change. And if the karma logs do not change, then no matter whatever the person does, whichever trajectory one explores, whatever one tries out, everywhere there will be misery and emptiness. Because that is the result of the karma. But karma can be dissolved and resolved by the spiritual supply. Therefore, the devotee offers spiritual supply. Because the point is that unless a devotee does not experience serving Krishna with full dedication, one will never experience uh, the high grade happiness which the sanidhyata of the Supreme Lord brings about. And that is why Prabhupada said, ours is a pushing movement. So many times devotees feel a bit agitated when they feel that okay, that other devotees are pushing me or pulling me towards Krishna. So that push and pull actually should be welcome and is essential, because uh, there is a tendency to become lax. But because of the mercy of the devotees, we get a push. Then we know that breaks off our attachments, or we are pushed, and our attachments are broken off. And only when one situates oneself in dedicated service can one experience the supreme joy and the warmth and the sanidhyata of the Lord which it brings about. So that cannot be experienced from a theoretical or intellectual platform. And that is why Prabhupada said ours is a pushing movement. The Prabhupada said, my spiritual master pushed me, I am pushing you, you push others. That is our movement. So therefore, if you feel that some devotee is pushing you, try to give the least resistance to that push. Because if you allow yourself, if you allow ourselves to be pushed, there is going to be phenomenal revolution which can come about in our lives and in the lives of humanity at large. Let's stop here for today. Do you have any questions? Hey Krishna Prabhu. Yes, Prabhu. Yes.
How we can take the suffering of this, especially physical or mental suffering of others. So this is which I cannot understand.
Oh, so how we can accept, or how we take the suffering of others, or how we accept the suffering of others? Yes, to be able to preach to, yeah, for the pleasure of Krishna, to be able to preach Krishna consciousness to any kind of people, we have to actually enter their lives. We cannot preach from an isolated platform. No. We cannot preach an isolated platform. First of all, we have to spend time with them. They have to be with them. So suppose if one wants to preach to tribal people, so one has to actually go and spend time staying in the tribal areas. That means spend time in abject simplicity externally. So there will be no proper eating, there will be no proper lodging. It's very simple. It's that it is not an AC seminar hall. Like that. It's a very simple setting. I remember Bhakti Purushottam Maharaj goes to such tribal rural areas where a four-wheeler does not go also. Some places two-wheeler also does not go. There is only one pagdandi. And you can only walk 5 kilometers, 7 kilometers, like that it is. Maharaj goes to even those places to preach. So this means too much austerity. This means austerity. So, and that is true for everyone actually. So in the first place, one has to spend physical time with people. So when we spend physical time with people, we can then only one will be able to see their problems. Then only one will be able to find out or figure out their blockages. And then only we will be able to help them properly. We will be able to give a message, which is so. This is one thing. The other thing is when we hear and feel for others' problems, we also get affected by those problems. When it gets affected, so one can feel that suffering. So if one is feeling the suffering, means what? That suffering is coming in our heart also, na? That is the whole point. That is the whole point. So our process is not so being a servant of the servant. Our process is not that okay, we are sitting at the top in a helicopter and we are throwing ropes. Okay, whoever wants can catch the rope and come up. We are here for next half an hour, and after that we'll fly off. Anybody is caught, anybody is whatever, no, then we will fly off our helicopter. Now our process is not like that. Our process is, you know, uh, it is said, no, we go below them to uplift people. No? That is the process. The servant of the servant mode is like that. And we say, people, okay, climb on my shoulders and climb up. Climb on my head and my shoulders and climb up. So that's the whole point. That is the whole point. So it is, and in this modern day world, actually, we will see so many different kinds of illusory problems and complex problems people come up with. And sometimes the head may become heavy. So what am I doing? So much nonsense, so much complexity, so much of illusory menace which people have created in their lives, in their thought processes, and all that. So first of all, to hear about that itself will be painful, and uh, and then to help people resolve that. So sometimes the head may go heavy. Like you see, one can sit very nice, one can sit very nice under some Vamshivat tree in Vrindavan or Mayapur, and chant Hare Krishna. One will not be able to chant. No, Prabhupada says that, Prabhupada guarantees that. But even if one is thinking of chanting, like that. So now, on the contrary, the acharyas, what they say, the acharyas says go to cities, go to places where people are, set up a temple. When you set up a temple, the temple grows. A lot of management is there. A lot of different kinds of people come with different mindset. They are not coming. Everybody is not coming for pure devotional service, because people are coming with different mindset, different motivations for Krishna. There are so many headaches which comes, and one may be thinking, I came to Krishna consciousness for chanting and Krishna Katha and Krishna Kirtan. And now I have to. Somebody is coming to ISKCON saying, okay, here is my black money, make it white, You know? Somebody is, so many headaches, So many things. Sometimes some devotees are fighting. Somebody has, who had come with ulterior motive has taken and cheated money out of Prabhupada's mission, and somebody is blaspheming, somebody is doing something. So a lot of headache comes actually, and one will thinking, "Arey, where is Krishna Katha, Krishna Kirtan?" That is there, but one has to handle all these things. But the point is, this is called as acceptance of suffering. This is called as acceptance of suffering. And while doing this, a devotee has to be very, very strongly rooted in one's spiritual roots. Otherwise, one may stand to get knocked out oneself. Because material world is not illusory. Its force is real. Its force toward degradation is real. When we are standing as a wall, and shielding even other devotees, that service is a risky service in one sense. One will face the brunt and the force. It is not that one will not face the brunt and the force. It is not that, oh, everything will go good, I just stand, No, if you stand and face the fury of the tornado of the material world head on your face and chest, then it is going to exert a force actually. And therefore a sadhaka has to be with that motivation, that I will only be able to help humanity if I am very strongly rooted at the lotus feet of my spiritual master. If I am very strongly holding on to the lotus feet of my spiritual master, his god brothers, my own god brothers, my own god sisters, one very strongly rooted, like that, then only one will be able to handle that. Otherwise, one may stand to get blown off. So this is suffering, Prabhu. It's suffering, but it is burden of love, Prabhupada says. It's like sometimes Prabhupada gives the example that there is a mother and her child is a very motu child, chubby type of child. Na? You have seen some chubby kind of children. They're very, very, uh, they look very cute but very chubby. The flip side of it is weight will be 20 kgs. No, yeah, 2 year child weight will be, something like that, something like that, Now, now the mother is carrying, So, the mother may be herself 40-45 kg, She carrying 20 kg, So, so it may be very painful, and it is very hard, but poor lady is carrying this child for hours and hours, and she is not thinking of dumping off the child, that okay, when will some opportunity come, I'll throw the child here, there, on somebody, somewhere, no, she's continuing. She's continuing painstakingly. Why? Burden of love. Burden of love. So this is the burden of love which we have to accept. So yes, risk is involved. But if Krishna is telling you, take risk for me, oh, I will expedite your spiritual journey, 1,000,000 times. But Krishna is also telling, and the acharyas are also telling, don't take risk capriciously or whimsically. Take it under guidance so that you'll be able to handle it. Don't get blown off. Don't get blown off. So that is the point. So we are given. We are given full training and guidance, and following the proper principles, one take risks step by step, in such a way, and that is very pleasing to the Lord. That's what it means. Very well. So let's stop here for today. Grantaraj and Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Very well. Okay, so 8 o'clock.